I attended a 4-day, 400-person virtual conference. 6 lessons stuck with me. Here's the first one. One of the recruiters on the panel said something that I haven't stopped thinking about. She said, when you walk into a meeting without data, you're just giving your opinions, and opinions are easy to dismiss. I tested this in my own work. There's a statistic that everyone repeats, that faces get more engagement than graphics online. But this statistic is from 2014. And so rather than just relying on it entirely, I decided to test it myself on my university's careers page, comparing videos of people versus our usual carousels and graphics. I wasn't able to track this as rigorously as I would have liked to, but faces clearly won enough to have us implement more videos in our content calendar. A senior leader made the distinction between a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor talks to you, while a sponsor advocates for you when you are not in the room. I realized that I'd been confusing them both to mean the same thing and probably asking for the wrong things from the wrong people, because they are two different people which would help you to achieve two different things. One of my favorite ideas from the conference was something called the company swap test. The idea is simple. If I can replace the company name in my cover letter with another company's name and it still makes sense, that means my cover letter is probably not tailored enough. I'm actually testing this on a real application, and I'll make a dedicated video to show the entire process because I believe it's too valuable to rush here. The final session of the conference gave me a 7-step framework for solving problems at work. And halfway through the framework, I realized that I've broken almost every single one when building my project called InternTrack Pro. I'm going to walk you through the framework and tell you exactly where I went wrong, because that will be more useful than just listing out the steps. Number 1, define. I usually call myself an AI product engineer publicly. However, InternTrack Pro has 0 LLM integrations. That's me giving myself a title before I have evidence for it. Number 2, gather evidence. I caught this myself in my brand document. And if I continually keep projecting myself or referring to myself as an AI product engineer, it won't be long before someone else notices this as well. Number 3, analyze. I have made this a 30-day top priority action. Not because it is the easiest, but because this is my highest leverage. Doing this would close my credibility gap the fastest, as well as unlocking future content such as the AI feature build. Number 4, make a plan. The plan is to integrate Anthropic AI to create one AI feature, which is an AI cover letter generator. And I intend to do this with about 2 to 4 days of focused work, or more if spread out. Number 5, reflect on what is causing that problem. For me, it's procrastination. I'm having this belief that implementing this Anthropic AI would be too difficult, and so rather than trying, I'm just ignoring everything, as well as researching too deep into minute things, and so it's preventing me from just actually doing the work. Number 6, initiative. What are you already doing that is progressively taking you towards achieving that goal? For example, I started researching on the process it takes to get a cover letter to be generated through Anthropic AI. What little steps are you already making that would help you to achieve that goal? And lastly, communication. This is having someone to hold you accountable to achieving this goal. And for me, I'm making this public accountability statement that by the 30th of August 2026, I would have had the AI feature build on InternTrack Pro completed. And I'm going to in turn create a video on the AI feature build, the entire process. Someone in the Women in STEM panel said something that reframed how I thought entirely. She said that mentoring doesn't necessarily have to be one directional, but in my case, I had always found myself as learning from those ahead of me in the conference without me necessarily having something to offer. But that's the wrong mentality. Even as a junior who has a senior mentor, you always could share something, or you could have something different to offer. It is believed that people earlier on in their journey would see things differently in a role than those more experienced from them. And so, for example, in my case, if I'm a junior and I have a senior mentor, I could share this different perspective or different point of view that I have. If I had a mentor who was not really tech oriented, I could share my tech perspectives from a tech point of view. I could help with creating content and many more. So whatever level you find yourself, you always have something to offer. Mentor sideways. You don't always have to be at the top, mentoring those below you. Even someone as a junior, you could offer a change in perspective to someone far above you, and even to your mates and anyone. You could learn from anybody. I'd always written drafts myself, but one thing that I'd never done was to actually let AI to critique my work. A workflow was laid out during this conference, and it was to research with AI, and from that research to write your first draft in your own words with your own reasoning, and then give that draft to AI to critique, not to rewrite, but to critique it, to find blind spots, clarity errors in the structure, and the parts that don't land. The next step is the part that most people miss. You are to critique the results that AI gives you, not necessarily just use it word for word, because the thing is that the AI doesn't know exactly your tone, your voice, the things that sound like you and don't. So whatever the result you get back, you still need to read it out aloud and try to analyze it if it sounds like you or it doesn't, and then only move forward with the ones with what actually sounds like you. This is actually one idea I'm currently testing at the moment. I intend to carry out this experiment on a placement case study I created for a financial institution, written from a technology perspective. However, there's a lot involved before I can share the case study, so I do not have the full results yet. I intend to come back in a future video with the full results, breaking down exactly what worked, what did not work, and whether AI was truly able to preserve my writing voice. One common thread from all the 6 lessons was this: none of them was from waiting to be picked, bringing up data before someone asks for it, mentoring sideways and not just up. They all came from people who are already putting in the work.